Hello, hello. On BindyChaos.com as per usual. Just testing a few things. I'll jump. Normally I start from the last tool developed, but this time I'll just start from the middle. So this one here, I'm actually adding now some more descriptions, and yes, I'm trying to use ChatGPT and Bard for writing those descriptions. I'll touch on it in a sec. But first of all, so this tool just checking my network uh, connection, how much data is being used. So currently OBS is taking almost 16% of my stream. Then let me just check my stream for a sec. You can see over here. So 15, 16 is baseline. So that's what's taken by OBS. Then, so when I use this tool, we'll get almost double. On yeah, normal update speed, and that's what. Do I duplicate? Yeah, now I can hear the CPU going because it's above. What? Right, it's already using 20 or so percent SSD. So both of these things are running. Start this one, say here, and that one a bit further, just so I can monitor which one is which, and duplicate it again. Right, so jumping to 20%. Got to play. Yeah, we're using already quite a lot of SSD. It looks like eventually I'll have to, unfortunately, limit the number of users who can access these things simultaneously. Make sure all three of them are running. Yeah, sending 60. Just to. This is one of the heaviest tools that I have at the moment. Yeah, it's going up to 80, 70. It's all opening the same files. I'm not sure why the SSD usage is so high. Right, so that's what the application a web server, that's the API server. Oops. So in this case, they're both receiving and transmitting. So Firefox should be receiving. It's just another thing to take into account when using it. Well, actually, one of the main things that needs to be considered. Essentially, how heavy the API is. The other thing is that eventually probably won't have the play button there anymore. So there's no situation where someone just leaves it while playing and forgets about it or something. In theory, it should time out. A third option will be preloading the data essentially into the browser. I got rid of that. Spectrogram. Right, no, it's still there. Not sure if anyone can let me know which one's better, having those video links at the top of the page like this, or an actual YouTube window like so at the bottom of the page. actually had trouble putting it where I want. I could have put it in the beginning or the end. It was sick. This one essentially a proof that everything is that the processing is done locally. And yes, for one of the tools, the fuzzy logic one, which it generated two sentences using a GPT model to remember it was bad or a Bing chat thing. Find out the text that's outside the boundary. We're looking into this. Another new tool will be coming up next. It's this noise reduction. And it will. That's the source code for it. Obviously, that's not all of it. Most of it is in here. This is still not it because you have that. Don't even know what it's called. Context help up there. Looks more like source code. Input type 3. A discrete Gabor transform, yeah. To get to one of those, it's using a function a Windows API. It's not. But yeah, we need to check if we have the source code for it. I assume we do. Those are the inputs to it. Been offered to use a wizard instead. I'm not checking it. Changing it. I guess the wizard is for setting up a new, so it's called call library function as a standard. They are checking. Right. More complicated one. Yeah, I don't like this code because it's not clear. There's no variable names and things like that, so you have to. Will be quite hard to troubleshoot or change anything if needed. It's the error output. What's this? It's so complicated. I mean, not complicated, but why can't I just use standard error? So it's taking the error code. Yeah, if error essentially, then go. Yeah, it's taking the error code. What? It's just maybe like combining two errors. What's that? This is first call chain. Yeah, it's just changing a string, so it's just changing the error message. While adding an error code from the first output. Certain type. No description or anything for these things. Yeah, great. This is a native LabVIEW example. Yeah, the point is, so that this is how it actually looks like. You can use Night Vision, which I think is using my GPU as well. Well, interestingly, you need this in dB scale, the color map. Otherwise, you don't see anything at all. Hmm. Anyway, so assuming that's your signal, and that would be was it false negative? If it's too sensitive or less sensitive. So if it's if it's too sensitive, then if your filter threshold is low, then you get more noise coming through. In this case, all of the noise is coming through. And when you start reducing noise at a certain level, you get false. So it's not detecting anything at all, which is also not what you want. Um, And that's your Gabor transform. There's no tips. What? So the problem with uh, things uh, the Express VI is that the problem with it is that I don't have the I don't understand how to get the source code of this interface. So you can take that Express VI, copy it, and open the front panel, but then the front panel looks like this. Understand? Yeah, it has all those elements. We can, yeah, just take an image. Take an image of that. And essentially, like this. Don't say. Yeah, essentially, this thing, this interface should ideally look like the ExpressVI user interface. So again, trying to replicate something similar to this, which is a noise reduction, another noise reduction algorithm using Gabor filters synthesis. And so that's what the original signal looks like. And you set a threshold. Oh, actually, that's interesting. Before it was giving me different results. To understand, I do have an iVision installed. I think that's one using my GPU as well, but it doesn't make much difference, I think. No, it does. It's weird. They're like can't seem to understand what this one does. Anyhow, just trying to see if I have the source code for this thing, which I do, but it's just um, they don't have it with the same user interface, which is unfortunate. But if something like this, where put put this over here or something. So that's the ideally the interface I would have started with. Right, so those wait, how those number constant numbers, not variables. It does have wait a sec. I need to actually use this one here. It's just opening a file. It's the function. CFA reading data. That's okay. Real signal waveform. Reading some sort of waveform into this still doesn't. So for example, we're looking for the filter settings, the threshold settings. Right, this one is a sorry, that one was a clone. Actually, so this threshold thing goes into some sort of threshold chart. Yeah, the source code for it is it's using this iMac denoise. So those are the NI vision functions. Don't understand why is it calling it by reference, not just why is it not using the actual VI? So that's if you have NI vision installed, then it will use another denoise function. So it's essentially doing a denoise twice. Yeah, call by reference. And where would the right that be the output mask? It's just binary array. Why? Binary array. Binary No, that's okay. That's just some sort of error message that that function returns. That's in case the toolkit is not installed. Right. And that's the input. So you have essentially TF representation as input and mask as output. There's no real help, no just other description, which is unfortunate, but we can work with it. With non-binary mask, and that's the actual Gabor. And why? It's similar thing, but it's actually returning the waveform. Gabor computes the Gabor expansion with Gabor coefficient stored in the data space referred to refnum. The data space referred to by refnum. Okay. Right, because it's just the image thing. And okay, I get it. And the mask will essentially mask all the elements that to be or not to be displayed in the image. Okay, so generally what we're trying to do is turn this into an API and a web application eventually. I don't know if we're using a JSON file or the output of this is an no, it is a graph. It's not an image. Yeah, which is okay. Sweet over there is doing something funny. It's fine. Don't understand. Cancel. How do you get this interface of an Express VI? Let's check this for a sec. Express VI. Yeah, this is a PDF on how to develop. There's even a Stack Overflow entry. An old one. Save Express VIs to any location. Yeah. Express VI, I don't know where to go. Yeah, they hide quite a bit of the functionality. You're usually going better using functional global structure or yeah. Express VI. So yeah, when we do open front panel, question is why do why don't I get all of it? Anyhow, we need all these parameters. Ideal, we need them in one VI, and that's the DP turning on and off. This one does have a proper context help over here. Specifies the output. This input signal. Yes, okay. Making sense. Okay, complex. Real and complex. So you have a waveform, Gaussian window, and the sampling information. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's start this again. Don't want to save anything. Point. Yeah. Another thing that we wanted to add. I don't like this interface. It looks like it's using a EEG bands. No, they're not, are they? AR spectrum. A power spectral density. Difference between those two. SDFT spectrogram. Hey Kumar, it's fine because it shows me no one is watching. Oh, now it got updated. It kept showing me no one. Yeah, now I can see it did get updated after it takes it a while, the YouTube analytics thing, to do anything useful. I'm actually not using it at all. I'm just in OBS using the API. But yes, with this APIs, there's always question of how fast or slow they are, or if they're even working at all. The original, it might have some sort of timeout. Yeah, it's probably something must have timed out. Yeah, I'm just trying to add another ECG thing as a API and then a web application. Apparently this one used in literature quite a lot. I only recently learned about it, but essentially it's the distance between the ECG complexes. So it's like essentially telling you how regular or irregular they are. So it's the distance between the two R peaks. So if I'm able to my ECG thing, right? Or even the generator. So here, in theory, if I had that, I don't know how to pronounce it, Poincaré, someone's name, must be French. Then if I had it live, then once I change, say, what is it? A PMP noise? Yeah. Yeah, so once I change this and there's like an irregular ECG, then this Poincaré graph should go somewhere, should go up like this. So in theory, depending on what's the ECG abnormality is, it will, this, what's called eclipse, SD1 and SD2, and this average of it should go places, go like end up on different points of the graph. So it would be really nice if I had it, say, in here. I don't want to touch this one. I'll probably create a new tool, just because this one works. It works already. This was also some sort of LabVIEW old example. They had their biomedical toolkit designed like in 2014 or something, and they haven't touched it since like 2015. I think there was like one update, and they haven't touched it anymore. So yeah, I was just some of these things. I'm just trying to see if I have all the source code for it. Interestingly, one has three different types of into what? What those? Uh, all right. Yeah, those are okay. Now I get it. Now I remember looking at it ages ago. Those would be the different ECG. It's essentially would be timing for when P onset offset happens. And this one will be the R. Yeah, QRS onset, and it's that will be its amplitude um, offset. I think that will be time. So those will be these values there. How do I display it properly? But there would be a bunch of them. Yeah, there would be 2000. That many 2200 QRS complexes. So 2200 of those with all the timing, with all the details. So that's essentially what you need to represent ECG. So you could, I mean, yeah, you could reproduce ECG out of it. So essentially, it's a way to downsample ECG as well. So you don't have the raw data like you see here. That's all the data points in there. You just see the the metrics like this distance, that little distance, yeah, those delays, and amplitude. So, and our way to display it would be just to overlay them on top of one another. And essentially, this will tell you that the distance between the R's, these peaks, what is it? QRS. Yeah, so these peaks, the that would be the distance between them. As that would be on x axis, and the y axis will be shifted. So essentially, each point there would be the this distance minus as opposed to the previous distance. Yeah. So if the ECG is abnormal, then this graph, so in this case it's normal because the RR is around 0.8. So ideally it will just be, I guess, inside the red ellipse. But if it's abnormal, if essentially this distance is different to previous distances, then it will move up and down on this diagonal, I think. But yeah, need to, yeah, I'll add eventually some um, references and things. Why there's so many? I thought I fixed that, so there's not too many numbers after the decimal point. But to look at it again, So in this case, yeah, histogram. I kind of threw a kitchen sink at this one little VI. Check. Right. Using yeah, the biomedical toolkit. It returns. This is no raw signal. Those would be an array of R distances, and then it gives you a heart rate, standard deviation, mean. This actually meant to mean something. Percentage of check. Probably will have to keep this one short and take most of it offline or continue tomorrow because I start losing my voice, which is not good. Yeah, last week wasn't feeling great. Right. So that's the two HRV analyzer. Still something's still running. I can tell. Something's using a lot of my SSD. It's jumping between 20 to 70%. It must be funny. Yep. Yeah, I have to restructure those web applications so they either time out when not in use or yeah, because essentially when the server is sitting idle, there's not much going on. But when one of the tools is open, it's a different story and they case by case. They're all quite different in terms of how many resources they take. Something to keep monitoring. Yeah, and we reached 80 subscribers on YouTube. So that's awesome. It's interesting how when you create content, when you stop, for a while, all your metrics go down super quickly. But once you keep putting stuff out, it's it's all going up as well. Can probably quickly show you that. I know other YouTubers do, and I know someone actually checked with YouTube. But yes, it's the creators' data, so we are allowed to share this. So this is all the content being created. I'm also looking at it because it's quite interesting how this user interface works. I can replicate a few things. And yeah, ideally you want something highly scalable. So yeah, all these metrics. So this, for example, this is this year. I think this is when I started doing something. Wait, I don't know. Something seems like missing there. I don't know what's up. It does make mistakes sometimes. Anyway, this is in the last 90 days. And this is the last 28 days. So this is live stream. This is a short video, which again in the system is regarded, they count it as a different thing than a video. Another two, and another one. Yeah, some of them were recording again all the videos, so like with newer microphone and some updates in the tool itself. Because what I was trying to do is put it on the website. So I'm still not sure what's the best way of doing it. Just have a putting link up here to the video, or having an actual video window at somewhere on the page. Yeah, can. Explain why. There's something wrong. It keeps using SSD. What? Why? No. Hmm. There's something else still. Windows search. What? There's something else. It's the Microsoft Windows Search Protocol host. It's using 50 megabyte per second on my disk. It's the indexing options of search. Of course, there's a minitool.com executable that you need to download and install. can remove certain sections from the. Wait, anyhow, I thought before. Anyway, so those videos eventually will be here and there, potentially both. Probably link there as I used to have. I did remove it, can bring it back, and also window here just so you can essentially see me using the same tool. If you um, want to know how to use it, or just don't have time to use it, you want to see a 1 minute video of me using it, it's also an option. Yeah, this one has two versions, like a longer video and a shorter. And a shorter one as well. And just quickly, yes, I'll take that one, all the other stuff offline. I'll just quickly touch on what I mentioned in the beginning of using. Did I get rid of it? Yeah, I must have gotten rid of it. I was using both. So in Microsoft, when you type anything in the search and go to chat, it was logged in. Right, no, I am logged in. So this would be essentially ChatGPT. This would be bad. Google, yeah. Just control control prompt. Understand. So this one has a limit now. Before it was only giving me 5 um, prompts. Now can do more. The good thing about the Bing chat, which is essentially ChatGPT 3 or 3.5 connected to the internet, is this thing. So yes, you can scroll the mouse to move from search to chat, which is a bit alright, because there's nothing to scroll in here. So when you get to the bottom of the page and keep scrolling, it will then move to the search. So just what I was asking. And do the same for Bart. Well, Bart is faster, but then it uh, keeps giving. Where is getting all this stuff from? Right. So this one is actually taking it from, it's giving you sources, which is great. It's fine that Microsoft is using Google sources, but then Bard is not providing any sources. Yeah, that's correct. This should be HTTPS. So I don't know where it picked up that link. Must be on my YouTube channel. I have to correct it. Yeah, must be on YouTube. Uh, Start part. Same question, just for control sake. Link. There's no link. That is correct. Yeah, that's normally how websites work. Once you visit the website, you will be able to browse the different sections of the website. Yeah, including the interactive examples, tutorials. Yeah, never use the word tutorials and community forum. So I'm really curious where it's getting this from, because I never mentioned the community forum or any of these individual words. You can also search for specific topics or keywords using a search bar in the top of the page. No, I don't actually have a search bar specific to the site. Yeah, this is. I remember vaguely writing something similar to that. Uh, it does. What if I ask? Yes, it's a community forum. Like how it's confident, right? Yes, so far Microsoft Bing Chat, which is ChatGPT, is doing a much better job. But let me just check. We were in fuzzy logic. So interesting thing would be if you give it a sentence like so. Would it like what would it do with it? So if it can must be able to like paraphrase things and what's not. But the general, yes, you're correct. And funnily enough, now it stopped giving me sources. I see now it's Eastern, Western, and Eastern medicine. What? Yeah, sometimes I also noticed it will produce a sentence. You go to the original source and there was nothing, like the keywords are not there. It's crazy. So, my take on that, first impression kind of thing, is that it takes longer to check if the information is correct or not. Like sometimes it's hallucinating all sorts of stuff, even sources. Um, One source before like didn't exist. Well, the link wasn't available. I couldn't find it in any other way. Yeah, bot is even worse. It's not providing any sources, hallucinating stuff. It keeps being overconfident with something that is obviously not true. Um, so just for completeness sake, just um, import. Yeah, it's just generated more decision support tools. Yeah, because here it says, yeah, yeah, it's a bit overconfident, I would say. And right, and where are the sources? Yeah, those. Right. I'm unable to help. Yeah, unable to provide sources. Like what? So why not provide those as sources? Anyway, I'll just finish. Oop. Just finish by asking how much does it cost to produce these answers, but seem to not have a limit on what, like, yeah, it's going into places. Yeah, Microsoft Bing. So this is an interesting a thing that it used to lie to me before. I asked it like several times if this is ChatGPT, and it kept denying it, and then it was giving me attitude as well, saying like I don't want to talk about it anymore and things like that. So 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 we can try it now that it actually mentioned a Microsoft Bing. and ask Bard the same thing as well. Just, yeah, we can replicate some, trying to replicate some being. Ah, right, because I asked about being. So being is a search engine, yes, yes. No, what's, and only in the Microsoft Bing thing only have 20 iterations. Being chat, that's what, I think that's what it calls itself. What? Cortana. Right, I forget about Cortana. Would it mention ChatGPT? Because it's actually work. Right, and now the actual question that is a being chat and chat is being chat using chat GPT 3 or being chat. But it's faster, that's for sure. Being chat venue. What? I cannot disclose the specific details of the technology. It's fine because if you enter this into regular, it, well, multiple, anyway, pretty sure it was saying yes. Anyhow, anyway, the site is so those sentences were generated generated by one of them. I forgot which one. Never provides sources, but it keeps generating forever. It never provides sources. It does. So it knows what sources are. Yeah, this one just provided from some blog. Anyway, yeah, I was saying before, some of those references would actually not have anything to do with the sentence that was generated, even though it looks totally legit. Yeah, this paper always comes up. Did you just copy paste that sentence or what? In field stages Mason by measure. No, it paraphrased. Suitable formulas to deal. No, that sentence is the same. No, I did just copy pasted like half of the sentence. Yeah, this one. So, yeah, it's interesting when you, oops, insert it again at the, I don't know what it does, it searches for it. And it generates like more text. No, I get it. So obviously it's not this generating a text from scratch. It's because yeah, Bart is more chatty. So you give it a sentence that generates like multiple paragraphs. In this case, yeah, it's not. It's being more cautious. It's not generating more stuff. So essentially, Bard, just because it's generating more, it has a potential to, I guess, hallucinate more as well. Its sentence is exactly the same. Yeah. And it won't provide any sources. Yeah, that's the problem. That's one of those predatory publishers. So yeah, I have to be careful with those responses. Um, anyway, my impression is that the time it will take you to check this response, if it's a topic you're actually familiar with, it's probably be longer than writing your own. So just keep that in mind. Last question. But seem to be always much quicker. But because yeah. Uh, what? It's like a different channel. Wait, now I'm curious. There's a YouTube channel with 14K subscribers. Anyway, it just keeps hallucinating stuff. Anyways, I'm not sure if I should use any of it in those descriptions, so just try them myself. I was actually using the transcription, video transcription, so voice to text on YouTube. Works pretty well. Um, to add a description and like essentially whatever this text of this video. There's no script, so I'm not creating scripts. But I do edit the videos quite a bit, so I remove all the ums and das and pauses and things, and also things that are being repeated. So then I can just transcribe. YouTube already transcribing it, so then I'm just placing it as text on the website, just so you know. But it's still um, confirmed. Something that I'm happy with, that text. So please, if you haven't checked the tools on Bionic Chaos yet, please do so. And I'm more than happy to get your feedback. It would be great to hear what you think. And I'll see you next time. Bye.